What is happening today, my More Squad? We are back with episode 9 of Talk More Sports, hosted by me, your main man, Hudson Moore. All right, to all my track and field people out there, it's Mr. Moore on track reporting to you right now that it is currently day 2 of the USA Championships qualifying for the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan. I got to tell you, it is heating up right now, especially on the sprint side. Just now, today, Melissa Jefferson has won the women's 100-meter U.S. title running at 10.65. 10.65, number 4 all time in USA history in the women's 100-meter. And on the men's side of the 100-meter, Kung Fu Kenny Bednarek, running at 9.79 to take the U.S. title. Seriously, 10.65 and 9.79. That's pretty impressive for those two sprinters. Because again, Melissa Jefferson came out of nowhere last year in the Paris Olympic Games, taking bronze against that stacked lineup with Sha'Carri and Julian Alfred. And then we look at Kung Fu Kenny. We look at him as always a 200-meter sprinter. In my opinion, the best consistent 200-meter sprinter in today's game since 2021 at the Tokyo Olympics. And now the 100 meters in the conversation with him, running at 9.79. Win legal too, by the way. Win legal. And again, as we focus on Kung Fu Kenny, we think about Keishane Thompson, who is number 1 right now in the world leading time of the men's 100 meter at 9.75, number 6 all time in the 100 meter men list. And when we look at this 9.79 from Kung Fu Kenny, there's still lots of potential there for that dude. There's a lot of potential for him. I mean, the fact he has a legitimate chance to win the world title in the 100 meter, I still have him as a favorite to win the 200 meter title. I feel like he's going to surprise a lot of people with that 200 meter title. Now, don't get me wrong, you still got to go against Tebogo and Noah Lyles, who they're right there in that conversation too. But when we look at Kung Fu Kenny, again, consistency is what he is known for. It's what he does the best at. And look at the way he's running now in the 200 and now in the 100. He can win a world medal in the 100 meter, but that 200 meter title, I would be surprised if he loses that. I would be very surprised because he looks like the best one so far this entire 2025 season, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But this 100 meter, 9.79 to 9.75, not the whole biggest difference in the world. I'm a former sprinter. I would know. I compete at the collegiate level. I would know. He's not that far from Keishane Thompson. And who's to say when the World Championships come around, maybe he will up his game. Maybe he'll go faster. Because with Keishane Thompson, we don't know yet. But Kung Fu Kenny, he's known to get faster as the season progresses. So with Kung Fu Kenny having more experience too at the world stage, right? Because Keishane Thompson came into Paris last year with probably his biggest international competition. Kung Fu Kenny's been doing this for 4 years now, since the 21 Tokyo Games. So he has a lot of experience under his belt. He knows how to handle his business under the lights, in front of the biggest crowd, in front of the world watching, and gets the best athletes. So when I look at Kung Fu Kenny, he can get that 200 meter title, but the 100 meter title, there's potential there. Honestly, might win it. Running that 9.79 against that stacked U.S. 100 meter final today, I would be shocked. Seriously, I never thought in the last 2-3 years that we've been having an actual conversation with Kung Fu Kenny potentially winning the 100 meter world title. 200 meter all day long, 100% all day long. But the 100, wow. Now everybody's doing the 1 and 2 because usually we're known for guys either doing the 1 or 2, but now it seems like everybody wants to now dabble into both. Even though yes, everybody does want to, but like we've always been known like the last 3-4 years, that's always been like one sprinter to know and be best at one event. But now it's like okay, now there's 2 to 3 events in the conversation. And also let's think about this. No Laos will be in the world title just because he has the bye with being the world championship and being the world champion, from 2023 Budapest. We have Oblique Seville running a 9.85 from Jamaica, who's in that conversation. Who else will we got? Fred Curley has announced this past week that he will not be competing at the USA Championships, so he will not be in the World Championships, unfortunately. We have Keishane Thompson, right? Current world leader, 9.75. Travion Brombell running a 9.8 as well. He's no stranger to the world stage. Christian Coleman, unfortunately, will not be competing. So we look at this lineup. It may come down to either Kung Fu Kenny, Keishane Thompson, Oblique Seville, and Noah Lyles. And I know Noah Lyles ran in the first round yesterday at the USA Championships running a 10.01. Not amazing, but again, we know when it comes to Noah Lyles in 100, he turns on the Jets much later in the season, unfortunately. But that 200-meter title, there's still a chance for him. But the 100-meter title, I don't know. But again, it's no loss. Anything could happen. We know that. But we really look at this stack lineup right now. It will either come down to Kung Fu Kenny or Keishawn Thompson, and I hope it's Kung Fu Kenny. If Kung Fu Kenny even just wins the 100-meter title, like let's forget about the 200-meter. If he wins the 100-meter, oh boy, I cannot wait to talk about that after he does it. If he does it. As we move to Kung Fu Kenny, we go to Melissa Jefferson. Now, as I said before, a 10-6-5. 10-6-5, number 4 all time in USA history. It's going to come down simply to her and Julian Alfred, the reigning Olympic champion. Sha'Carri is not in the conversation, unfortunately. Looking at her through the season and then at the USA Championships first round yesterday, something's going on. I know she's been dealing with injuries. I get that. And she still has to buy herself as well because she is the reigning world champion from 2023 Budapest as well in the 100. So she'll be at the Worlds. But is she going to win? Absolutely not. And that's no hate on her. I mean, I have my mixed feelings about Sha'Carri Richardson, but this is not me hating on her. This is just a fact. Melissa Jefferson runs a 10-6-5. Julian Alfred, a 10-7. She could easily run a 10-6 as well. There is no question that one of those two are going to win the world title. And let's also not forget, back at the Prefontaine Classic in Eugene Hayward, it was the lineup again between Julian Alfred, Sha'Carri Richardson, and Melissa Jefferson. It was literally the Olympic rematch just a year later. And it was shown that Melissa Jefferson and Julian Alfred are going to smoke Sha'Carri in the World Championships. If Sha'Carri Richardson even makes it to the final in the World Championships. If she does, I would be shocked. I mean, I would be shocked if she makes the finals. Now, again, not hating. I don't want people to think that I'm hating on this woman. I think she's an exceptional athlete. I think she's a great athlete. I think the way that she carries herself is good. But sometimes her attitude and the way she talks in the press and social media, I do have my questions about that, but that's for a different conversation for a different day. But on the track, I mean, for the most part, she handles her business for the most part. But when we look at Melissa Jefferson and Julian Alfred, it's going to come down to either of those two ladies who I love. I love. But now looking at Melissa Jefferson now running at that 10-6-5 just today. Ooh, man, we gotta have some serious competition in the worlds in Tokyo. And I cannot wait for it. But again, Sha'Carri Richardson, she is still the reigning world champion. But that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. Things change. People get faster, people get stronger, people get hurt. So, either way, it's going to come down to Melissa Jefferson and Julian Alfred. But again, you never know what else could happen. Maybe something could happen to Melissa Jefferson. Maybe something could happen to Julian Alfred. And maybe somehow, some way, maybe Sha'Carri turns on the Jets. Maybe she figures her stuff out. Maybe she can get into momentum. Maybe she's more healthy when the World Championships have become. You don't know. But again, we will not know until the World Championships come. But I truly believe it will come down to Melissa Jefferson and Julian Alfred. I truly think so. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait for it. I cannot wait for it. But with the USA Championships almost wrapping up, because we got 2 more days. We got tomorrow, Saturday, and then Sunday, right? Then we got the 200-meter. It's going to be Kung Fu Kenny. No Laos. I got to say Courtney Lindsay, too. I got to put him up in that conversation, too. I I don't know who else could do it. I really don't. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, Courtney Lindsay. Courtney Lindsay, Kung Fu Kenny, and no Laos. I don't know who else we could really think of who could make some noise in the 200-meter in the men's side. I really don't. I mean, yeah, when it comes to, because also Aaron and Nine, he won't be competing. He hasn't been competing, so unfortunately, he won't be in that conversation. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. We used to have such a stacked lineup in the 200-meter, but now it's so short. It's just like it's just 3 guys. Really? I mean, we have some other guys who could maybe run a sub 20, but nobody who can really make a shot at the world title. Not like Kung Fu Kenny, not like Noah, not even Courtney Lindsay, because he could be out of that conversation as well. And with Aaron Nine out of the conversation, it just really leads down to 3 guys, unless somebody from unknown can make a name for himself and go big time, which I don't think will happen, but you never know. It's the world of track and field. Anything could happen. We have seen this play out day in and day out, without a doubt. But again, I'm not so sure. I really don't know. But when we think about the women's 200 meter, Gabby Thomas, Gabby Thomas, and Mackenzie Long too. I mean, we got two stud women 200 meters right there. Those guys can easily medal. They can 100% medal in the Worlds. Gabby, I hope she wins it. I hope she does. Because even though with Julian Alfred now having the world lead time in the 200 meter, we're still hoping for that, that duo of Sharika Jackson and Gabby Thomas. Because again, with Sharika being the former or current world champion, and then Gabby being the current Olympic champion, we want that duo again. We want to see those guys go at it again. But with Mackenzie Long and Julian Alfred, they're in that conversation as well. So, yeah, the 100 and 200 meter are going to be shaken up pretty close when it comes down to the finals. I don't know. I think it's safe to say no title is safe. No title is safe. Anybody can get it. Anybody can grab it. At this point, this late in the season, anybody could. In the 100, it could either be Kung Fu Kenny or Keishain Thompson, or who knows, maybe Noah Lyles or Oblique Seville. On the women's 100 meter, Melissa Jefferson, Julian Alfred. Unless Sha'Carri Richardson can turn on the dip again, we can get a repeat of last year's Olympics. In the men's 200, Tebogo, Noah, Kung Fu Kenny, maybe Courtney Lindsay. Maybe. A women's 200 meter. That's going to be a fun. I'm more excited for the women's 200 meter than for the men's 200 meter. Because we got Julian Alfred, Mackenzie Long, Gabby Thomas, and Sharika Jackson, like I said. I'm probably more excited for the women's 200 meter than I am for the men's 200 meter. Because then it's like there's four legitimate contenders for it. For the men's side, not necessarily. It could really either be American. Maybe Tebogo, but again, no Laos and Kung Fu Kenny are just those dudes, unless Tebogo can do Tebogo things. But again, with the women's side of 200 meter, it's going to be fun and exciting. So I'm very excited how these USA Championships are going to wrap up. I cannot wait to see what the World Championships are going to look like because we're already getting this much action in the USA Championships. You already know what the Worlds are going to bring with all athletes from all around different corners of the globe. It's going to be so much fun to watch. I cannot wait. I'll keep you updated on my YouTube, my TikTok, everywhere. Keep everybody updated. Make sure you comment down below, like and subscribe to this channel. We'll be back tomorrow. And with that being said, we'll be back with more.